Hello, folks, and welcome to the first Chunk TV and Gaming Sports podcast with me, Chunk, and the owner of BetLounge.uk, my mate, Dunny. Hello, Dun.
How's it going, Chunkster?
Right.
BetLounge.uk, where you can find all the best current sportsbook, casino, and bingo promos. I've just got to get that in there, mate.
I don't blame you, mate. That's what we're here for. Promotion, promotion, promotion. So then, you want to crack on, or have you got any more to get in?
That'll do for now, mate. I'll get a bit more in when we're a bit more deep into the podcast, buddy.
Sound, my man, sound. Right, so we're going to jump in no particular order, but we am going to start with Villa. So, survived on the last day of the season, 17th.
Skin of the bollocks.
Yeah, basically, mate. Of course, they was lucky, but they did it. So, I mean, just looking at their sort of the team stats last year, obviously 38 games played, 41 goals, and goals conceded was 67. So they're minus 26 on the goal difference. So what did you think of their season overall?
Begs the question, that you got to ask, how the fuck did they stay up last season, Chunk Villa?
41 goals. It's a bit.
This season, it's going to be extremely difficult, I think, for Villa. A lot depends on the next week, whether they keep Jack Grealish. He's their star player. He's head and shoulders, mate, in front of everybody else in that squad for me. They've got a few all right players, Villa: Target, Mings, El Ghazi, Luis, Samata. But a lot depends on whether they can really perform week in, week out, 125%. I see Villa this season maybe just staying up by the skin of the bollocks again, to be honest, Chunk. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, looking at it, I mean, you look at their Mings, their star centre-half, pretty crap statistics last season. Awful, really. But going back to what you said, I don't rate it. He had a few good seasons, but he in a 20 million they paid for him?
Yeah, 20 million. I mean, he's a good player, but he does not nod off a lot. He seems to fall asleep, though. He's not got great, for me, not got great awareness of the game, great vision.
Yeah, and more so than your physical attributes now, for a centre-half, you need that vision. I think you want a centre-half who's intercepting, not tackling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If he's intercepting, straight away you're on the attack. He's got the ball at his feet. He's got players in front of him to take that ball off him.
I see him as a poor man's Nathan Ake. That's how I see Mings.
Yeah. And to be fair, though, Nathan Ake, went to Man City, didn't he? Want much more than they paid for Mings. Was it 25 or something like that?
Ake to Man City, 45 million.
Was it 45? Oh, shit.
45 million. I think it's a great buy, that, for Man City. I think it's a super player, mate. I really do. I've heard a few people say that's a bit of a big price. I think he will be Man City's number one centre half, to be honest.
If he comes in and answers a few of the questions that Man City's back four or back five, however they're set up now, but if he answers the questions at the back, 45 million could be a pinch, because let's face it, Man City, the only issue they had last season was conceding goals.
Yeah.
That was the only problem they had. But going back to what you said about Grealish, personally, I'm not his biggest fan.
Chunk, I'm disagreeing with you there, mate. I think he's a super fucking player, mate.
I don't know. I think at the minute he's a big fish in a small pond. Like where Man United was going on. So being like £50 million player. Like you look at games last season was 36, goals 8, and assists 6. I mean, to be fair, that's not a bad return.
That's a good return for a team that was predominantly in the bottom three.
Yeah.
For most of the season.
But
I think he'd be a great fit at Man United, Jack Grealish, Chunk.
Even fitting in with like Fernandes, because they're basically the same player.
Yeah, I think they'd find a place for both of them. I think he's a top player, mate. I think Graham Souness, about a few months ago on Sky Sports, basically said Jack Grealish takes too much time on the ball, and I couldn't disagree more with that. I think he's just he thinks way in front of all the other Villa players, mate.
Yeah,
He's like,
maybe he does. Like you say, the bits I've seen of him, the sort of thing that gets to me every time is somebody gets close to him and he hits the deck. For me, I'll lose interest in a player as soon as they start doing that, to be honest with you.
yeah, that's a little bit the same though with Traore at Wolves, and we all know Traore is like a brick shithouse and shouldn't go down, but he does go down.
I know, he's a massive
That
fucker,
type
isn't
of player, that winger, that attacking player, he usually find, mate, they do go down.
he? Yeah.
It's part of the plan.
Yeah. So, I mean, looking at Grealish last season, you'd got somebody there who's in the goals, he's setting up as what he can. Which then takes me on, obviously, their goal scoring woes, 41 goals. Their big signing last summer, Wesley, 22 million.
Yeah.
Right. Last season, he played 21 games, 5 goals, and 1 assist. I mean, if you're splashing, I mean, if you're buying a player new to the Premier League, it's a gamble. But you've got to be looking for more from.
I think so, but like I say, the problem is Villa don't offer a lot going forward. It's all supply, mate. All supply. Yeah. And he's not a great player for me. That's just my personal opinion. Wesley's not a great player.
Yeah, I mean, they've sort of got a few players who are getting a few goals. I think John McGinn was a big loss for them for a fair amount of the season, to be honest with you.
Like John McGinn. I do like John McGinn, Chunk. He's a quite creative player.
Yeah, I got to agree with that. I think maybe with him a full season, him and Grealish working together may have been a bit easier towards the end for him. But we'll find out, because I've just got a feeling I don't think Grealish will move. I don't think Villa will necessarily sell anybody now.
If they do keep Grealish, they have got that chance of staying up by the skin of the bollocks. BetBull are offering on Villa to stay up this season 9-4. A lot of people might be tempted into backing that, Chunk.
It's not a bad shout, you know what I mean? I mean, sort of obviously getting back to the sort of the relegation and stuff, what we'll touch after. I think there's a fair few teams who could be in trouble this year. I think, I don't get me wrong, I think your top 10 are pretty much sorted, roughly. I mean, there might be a few teams who sort of get a lot higher in that top 10 than what you might think. But, yeah, I think there's maybe a 5 or 6 team dogfight, to be honest, for the bottom 3 coming up. But so then, looking at like Villa's signings, and as of yesterday, when I looked, they'd signed one player, Matty Cash, from Nottingham Forest.
Not great. They've not strengthened enough, have they, Chunk?
He's a right back who can go forward. For me, if they ain't going to be spending 15 million, they either need that on a centre half who's going to steady the ship, or somebody who's going to put the ball in the onion bag.
Yeah, definitely.
So, if you look, like, obviously 41 goals, 67 conceded. The middle of the park in too bad. It's either side of it. So, I mean, you get like, it's obviously as a centre half. I mean, he was 15 million and he got Forest Player of the Year last season. So there's something about him, and they must think highly of him. He's 23-year-old, I think he is.
The key is, though, if Villa want to edge away from that relegation zone and they want to be heading a little bit more towards mid-table, they need a lot more, mate, than what they've got. That's a fact.
Yeah.
We both agreed on that, Chung.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with you, mate, on that one. I can't see anything really what would change that, to be honest. Like I say, the only other one I've sort of put here down was obviously Villa scoring goals. There was a lot of talk of Ollie Watkins potentially being bought by Villa. I mean, last season. Obviously, championship, so it is a different season, but 49 games, including the playoffs, 26 goals.
Yeah, I'm a big fan, mate.
Yeah.
Very, very, very big fan of Ollie Watkins. I think he's absolutely lethal.
Yeah.
He'd be a good signing for Villa. He would. He'd be a good signing for a few Prem teams,
Yeah.
but not sure he'll go.
No, I think how much Brentford at the minute, I think they hold the cards on a lot of their players in regards they've done well over a few seasons, missed their last season, obviously, where I thought they was going up, to be honest with you. So I think they've got the money to self-sustain for maybe one more season before they've got to start looking at cashing out.
Yeah.
So, but like I say, I think it'll be interesting, but Villa, if that in the next week, that for me, they need to sign a decent centre half and somebody who's going to put the ball in the net.
Yeah, agreed.
Then I think the midfield should be able to take care of itself.
Yeah,
So,
I agree with that, mate.
Well then, moving on to your team then, mate. The Dingles.
Yeah. Dingles, fuck off. Right, so yeah, it's the gold and black, mate, Wolves. Or if you look at the fucking stupid away top, it's white and fucking spray painted blue.
The Simpsons.
I don't really know where the fuck they brought that thing from. You know something? If it wouldn't have had that spray painted blue on it, I think the top of the ice white.
Yeah, Germany 1990s.
Germany, look at the 1990 World Cup.
Yeah. To be fair,
where the thing there?
I don't know. You take that shit sky blue off, and it does look good. I will say that.
Interestingly, Chunk, you were the first person to send me a message on WhatsApp with the Wolves away top with Toy Story on it and fucking Simpsons on it. Yeah, absolute joke. What were they thinking? Yeah. We've done this now. We've done this before with the Doritos top years ago.
Yeah.
What a joke.
And then when you moved from sort of like the gold to the mustard colour.
Yeah.
Well, look, I mean, thankfully, obviously, they've gone back to the gold now, haven't they? You know what I mean? And they've moved away
I've actually had the new home top. It's really nice, the home top.
Yeah. But to be fair,
what was they doing with the away top? Jesus Christ.
Is that the actual away top, or is it the third?
No, it's the away top. That white spray.
So, yeah, I'm going to see quite a lot of it.
Yeah. I don't know how well it's sold, but I'd probably say there's probably been none. Zero sold of that.
I don't know. You might get one or two who we might know. You know, I mean, hardcore Wolves fans who.
Yeah, if you have brought that, you're a fucking idiot. Let's put it that way.
Saved 60 quid and bought another home top just in case the Fuston got ruined.
Yeah. Right then, mate. So going on to Wolves.
Yeah.
I think it could be a very, very well. So I'm going to get this in first here. So I don't want people to think I'm being biased. Obviously, being a big Wolves fan. I'm just calling a lot of this as I see it. For those of the people who don't know me, I am involved in another sports betting podcast. So I have to be that fair and down the line, and this is how I'm going to be. It could be a very interesting season for Wolves. The top four are absolutely terrified of playing Wolves because of the style that they're playing. There's also no European football this season for Wolves, which I think that bears well for them in the league myself. They've not been very active in the transfer window up until Chunk yesterday.
Yeah.
£35 million on this supposedly wonder kid, Fabio Silva, who people are dubbing the new Ronaldo. I personally don't know a lot about him, but I know this. He was the youngest ever player at Porto to play a league match, age 17. But £35 million for someone who spent most of the season on the bench seems a lot of money for me, but we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, you look at you can say that, but obviously he's the new Ronaldo. Ronaldo, was it 18, 19 million or something like that? He moved to Man United from Sporting.
Yeah. Nobody knew jack shit about him at the time.
Apart from he had a shit haircut. He had like noodle finger over it.
Yeah.
But like you say, never really set the world on fire in his first two seasons maybe?
I'd say the first season. He come into his own in the second season.
Yeah, then rest history, innit? But Yeah, look, Fabio Silva, I tried to get as much as I could on him. They're in a great deal out there at the minute, just breaking into the first team. Is he 18, is he?
He's
19.
18 now. He was 17 when he first started. His first league match for Porto. He's the youngest ever Porto player to play a league game. So, yeah.
There's got to be something there, let's be honest, because Porto...
Well,
Then Porto, isn't there?
there's got to be something there for people to be calling him the new Ronaldo, either, mate.
Yeah. I mean, look, this is, again, I just did a bit of research last night. 15 games / appearances. There was only one goal. But...
I think it's 3 in 21.
What was that, sorry?
3 goals in 21 games.
Something like that, yeah, I think. Maybe the way I said it, come up like 15 appearances. So, I don't know, obviously, if there's anything else around that, or maybe you've just been looking at the league rather than cups and everything going on. Yeah. But, yeah, you know what? Maybe it's worth a gamble. I mean, looking at... I mean, let's be honest, if 2-3 years down the line he's worth 100 million, it was a gamble if he's banging you 20 goals a season.
Well, if he is the new Ronaldo, they've put some kind of clause in their Porto for a sell on, are they? That's
I'm assuming so, yeah. I mean, you look at, going back to, again, just the Wolves last season, 38 games, 51 goals and 40 conceded, so plus 11 on the goal difference.
They're hard to beat.
Yeah.
They are very, very hard team to beat, to Wolves.
Well, let's be honest, 40 conceded in the Premier League over 38 games is good going.
It's a good going. That is fucking shit hot, Chunk.
Well, it is.
It's shit hot. They're an hard team to break down and beat. It's the way they're set. They're so good when they're not in possession.
That's why you need to be set up, though. And I think with the modern game now, you know, where you got like Barca and doing all the tiki-taka and all that, that got found out a bit, didn't it? And they haven't been the same since. Them trying to find...
The game's moved on again.
Oh, yeah. But whereas Wolves now, they play arguably better without the ball. And you think that's crazy. But if you look at basically the amount of times that they get possession when they score from getting a possession in, just defending fairly high within their own half.
Yeah. It's a genius setup.
It is. I mean, to be fair, some players, I'll be honest, when they signed Moutinho started last season, I thought 6 million from Monaco. And I said to you, because I'm 90% sure his legs have gone. That's why you've got him for 6 million. But
absolute superstar at Wolves.
Oh, yeah, and he's knocked your other Portuguese midfield superstar off his perch a bit, hasn't he? In Neves.
But they do play well together, don't they?
Oh, yeah, let's be honest. Moutinho is there to nurture. Yeah, he's there to nurture him, and he's there to get the best out of him. And he's still 23. That's still young for any footballer, really, to be trying to dominate the world, let's be honest. But
one thing I'm going to mention here, though, Chunk, what has gone on here with Matt Doherty? Why has Nuno sold Matt Doherty to Spurs? I'm absolutely shell-shocked and miffed at that.
I mean, how old was he? 29? 28, 29?
Just turned 30, was he?
He's around that. 28 to 30, we'll say. But, I mean, so he's still got, 4 good years in front of him, at least.
One of Wolves' best players, mate, over the last 4 to 5 years. You know, he's been there through the League One season, through the Championship winning season, and through us becoming a cemented Premier League team. Plays well week in, week out. I see Wolves on par with Spurs at the moment. I don't know why they've sold him. But he's a Jose Mourinho type player who Mourinho loves. So, yeah.
That might be the case then, you know what I mean? So, like you say, the way I see it is, and this is with all football clubs, like you've got Fabio Silva, signed 35 million. Matt Doherty sold, was it 15, I think, wasn't it, roughly, 16, give or take? Yeah. 15, right. They know something, obviously, the fans don't.
Yeah.
They've either got something in line or they've got somebody in the youth system they've got a lot of faith in.
Part
Let's
of
be
the
honest,
money's got to fund that transfer yesterday, to be honest.
I think so, but they must have something else lined up as a replacement because
Yeah.
Wolves, let's be honest, they haven't got the biggest squad. And
No,
sometimes that's a benefit. But I think,
it's a very sleek squad, is
yeah, I
Wolves.
think,
They've been
yeah,
lucky the last 2 seasons that nobody picked up any big injuries.
yeah,
If there would have been players in the Jimenezes, the Traores, the Jotas, the Willy Bollies, who would have picked up big injuries,
yeah.
would, have been struggling maybe the other side of the table. But they kept them 100% fit, no injuries, and that's why they am where they am. I think a
Yeah.
lot depends on Wolves' season over the next week is, do Wolves keep Jimenez? Does somebody come in with a massive amount of money? Because theoretically, Jimenez is the best Wolves player, mate.
Well,
He's the guy that offers the most. He's the guy that offers
yeah.
the goal.
I've,
Yes.
yeah, so I was saying I was doing me a bit of research and everything, and I got basically off this website who scored, where it's all called football stats and everything. It was their Wolves' best two rated players last season was Traore, who had 27 games or appearances, 4 goals and 9 assists.
Yeah.
So, but that doesn't necessarily tell you what he was doing when he was on the wing because I've seen him and I've seen him be untouchable. And then the very next game for me, he's been a bag of dog shit.
Yeah, well, can I get something here then, Chunk,
Yeah.
about Dharma Traore? Right. So I could create a massive, massive debate here with people and probably upset a few Wolves fans, myself here. I think with some of the interest that's come in for Traore, I've heard there's interest from Barcelona and big interest from Liverpool, right?
Yeah.
Now, Wolves value Traore at anything from 80 to 95 million. That's what I've heard through the grapevine.
Yeah.
Now, I think if Wolves got 80 million for Adama Traore, that would be the best bit of business ever, 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 ever done in football.
You
Because
know what?
this is just based on Traore. All this interest is based on one season. Now,
Yeah.
for massive fanatical football fans who never miss a game or never miss a Wolves game, Traore can be hit and miss. He can be hot and cold. And £80 million is still, in football terms, a lot of money and can go a long way. If I'm the Wolves manager now, I'm going to replace Nuno. If somebody comes in 80 million for Traore, he'd be sold. That's not me saying he's a bad player. I think he's an excellent player, and he was one of Wolves' best players last season. He was one of Wolves' stars last season, and he could be again this season.
Yeah.
If, kept himself fit, looked after himself, working
No,
hard.
I don't think there's any doubt he looks after himself, mate.
Yeah. He's like a shit house. His arse is bigger than the whole of my body. That guy's a monster.
He's fucking
He's an
huge,
athlete, mate. He's
Yeah.
an athlete. He's the Usain Bolt of football.
Mate, I don't think I've seen anybody quicker than him.
Yeah, he's fast. He's
Yeah.
he leaves people for dead. But is he worth 80 million, Chunk? And I'm asking you now as a Baggies fan, unbiased, is he worth 80 million?
I seen him play for Middlesbrough a few times, and my answer would be no. Obviously, you grow as a player. If you look, when I always seen him, and rumour was when he was at Middlesbrough, he always had to play on the side of the bench, so the bench could tell him what to do. I don't know how true that is. He, like you say, he might have every physical attribute to be the top player in the world, but there's supposedly questions around his old logic when he's playing. Has he got a footballing brain?
Do you know what Sam Allardyce calls him, Chunk?
What's that?
A sacking player. He calls him a sacking player. He says 1 minute he's absolutely like a whirlwind brilliant. The next minute he'll get you relegated. That's what Sam Allardyce calls him, a sacking player.
To be fair, I've spoke to, when you said you might piss off a few Wolves fans, I'll be honest with you, I've seen a 50-50 split on whether they should keep him or sell him. So I think it's one of them. It's a brilliant debate because he's split down the middle. I mean, go back to last season and the season before you had him. He didn't really do a great deal, did he? He got you to the byline, and he had no end product. 9 assists. He's showing now that his end product's coming.
His first season, he was finding his feet, which is fair enough with any player. New surrounding, new club. They've got to find the feet. It's the same with starting a new job. Anything you do in life, you've got to find your feet. Last season, he was tremendous. He was absolutely tremendous. But I still don't think he's worth 80 million. That's my final contrary.
Well, so basically, if Wolves come along, if they could get the 80 million, then put that straight back into a team, you could go out and buy 2 very good £40 million players.
Yeah.
What is it? Yeah. No, I'd agree with you on that one.
I think he'd be Liverpool, probably Liverpool's biggest flop boy ever, to be honest.
Oh, yeah. You know what?
He'd fit into that team very well.
No. He ain't a natural finisher. He's product. He's getting the ball, getting to the byline, getting the ball into the box.
Yeah.
He might chip in with a few goals as he has done there but I don't think he's that player that you need to look at his goal output. What he's doing to stretch the game more so. Yeah. Maybe he does that really well, and it's something me and you and us normal football fans overlook, what clubs and professional managers and coaches see all the time and think that's what you really want. Who knows?
Yeah.
But
mate.
We're going back to Jimenez. Personally, I don't think he'll move. Wolves, I think the only time and I'll say this about a few players, the only reason he'd move now is if Barca or Real come in for him. Let's be honest, who's going to turn down Barca or Real?
There's been interest from Juventus, Chung, big interest.
Yeah.
I'm going to go against what you've just said. I'm fearing the worst, mate.
You reckon?
I'm fearing the worst over the next week. He's a wanted man, is Jimenez. There's a lot of teams after him.
Yeah.
There's big interest from Man United, I've heard. Massive interest from Juventus. There's Suarez, apparently he's on his way out the door at Barca.
Yeah.
And I've little rumour that Barca might be interested. He's not going to give Wolves a 40, is he? If any of these teams come in with big money and big wages, he's going to be.
I think if you put it in a pecking order, him obviously Mexican, isn't he? So I think he's going to have more of a link to Barca or Real.
Yeah,
and I'd put Juve as third in that there because he could probably get a bit more money. Well, he will get more money at Juve. At Barca or Real. But so going on then, if Jimenez does go, in the next week, 37 appearances last season, 17 goals.
Yeah.
Would you then have to rely on Fabio Silva, or would you try and find somebody else with the time you've got left? Because I think the actual transfer window is open till the 5th of October. So there is time.
I can't say who they get in Chung to replace Jimenez. I don't know they get.
Well, I don't know. If you was going with Barcelona, see if you could get a swap deal going with Suarez, maybe.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's got a couple of years in him, but it gives you a couple of years to get the best out of that Fabio Silva.
Great deal there. 100 million for Jimenez plus Suarez. We'll take that.
I don't think many teams would turn that down, mate, to be honest with you. Yeah. 100 million and Suarez. Yeah. But, yeah, you know what? I think what I was sort of touching on last season, I think the old shutdown of the league and then that bit of a break they had was sort of a good and a bad thing for Wolves. They sort of come back and that was a bit all over the place. But I think when the league shut down, and including Europe, they would have had a hell of a lot of fixtures put together.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think
they played a lot of games last season, Wolves.
Yeah, and especially, like you say, with one of the smaller squads in the Premier League, to be fair, I'd say them in probably the top 2 or 3 for least amount of players used.
Statistically, I think they've got the smallest squad, mate. Don't quote me 100% on that, but I think they've got the smallest squad.
You know, I'll be honest with you, man. I call disagree with you if you said that, to be honest, because I can think of 16 players they probably use.
In total, last season, Wolves used 18 players.
Is it? Yeah, not far off then.
Quick question:
But
you wanna know who used the most players?
I'll probably
Have a guess.
go Man United,
No, Chelsea.
Chelsea.
Chelsea
That'd
used
be my second guess.
26 players. Chelsea used last season.
Is that good? Is that bad? You know.
I think that's a bad thing.
It depends. I think if them just giving, I think if like 10 of them players had come from like youth being dropped in the last 10 minutes of a match just to get a bit of first team experience, then probably not bad. But if they're chopping and changing to try and find something right, then yeah, that's pretty bad. Obviously,
You have to have a team gel.
yeah. And again, there's something about gelling which I'm going to touch on a bit later on. But so yeah, Wolves then, as a fan, when you're hoping for as a finish next season?
Right. As honest, no bias here. I think Wolves can push the top four. They can push them, but I don't think they can break into the top four just yet, mate. I would like to see Wolves finish 6 next season. I would be very, very happy if we finish 6. And I think them capable of finish 6 without any European football.
Yeah, mate. I think that you're looking at a trophy. I think your best bet is going to be like your Carabao Cup. I think if you can get that in, you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, well, we should have been in the final of the FA Cup 2 seasons ago, shouldn't we? I mean, come on, man. They absolutely fucking threw it away against Watford. It was a 2-0 up with 28 minutes to go and lost that 3. That was just unbelievable. But shit happens, don't it, Chunk?
It does, and that's the learning curve, innit? You know what I mean? The thing is that you become better by getting to that situation again and then not repeating the same outcome.
Yeah. I think there's only one guy. There's only really one guy Wolves have got to keep, and that's Nuno.
Yeah, I actually think he's the key for me. He's got his connections, he's got his way of playing, and he can get the best out of players.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think going back to actually we talk about Wolves quite a lot. It's a bit scary being an Albion fan, but news on about like some key players not getting injured. Was it Bolly who got injured just before Christmas?
He did,
and he was out for about 6 weeks.
Yeah, he was really missed. Was Bolly when he was injured? He's a great defender. He's Bolly, his vision and awareness of the game, the way he controls the game. I think he's a great defender, Willy Bolly. I'm really surprised that big teams are coming for him. Chung. I really am.
Yeah, I'll be honest. This is going
them down the Wolves.
Well,
Willy Bolly.
Mate, well, to be fair, the more teams you stop away, the better for you, really, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because it was pretty much, I think you said, as soon as Bolly was out, their form sort of went down.
Yeah.
And then he come back and it went back up again. So, like you say, you've got probably 4 key players you need to keep hold of that squad.
Yeah. The thing is with Bolly as well, he gets a few goals here and there, which, you'll pay gold bars for having a defender.
Yeah, well, if you can get a centre-half with 3 or 4 goals a season, especially if them chucked in at the right times, mate, that could be 10 or 12 points, couldn't it?
Yeah, definitely, mate.
So, right. And now to your second favourite team, my man. Albion.
So what was it you called Wolves before the Dingles? Yeah, well, come on then. We'll move on to Tesco carrier bag. Right.
Every little helps.
So I've got to be careful the way I'm calling this. I don't want it to come out the biased at all. I don't want to get pissing any WBA fans off here and have them knocking my door.
It's your views, isn't it, mate? You know what I mean? You didn't like him. Obviously,
I've got to be completely honest here, Chunk. I don't see West Brom staying in the Premier League. I think they do, mate. I don't give them a prayer of staying up. The bookies have them of around evens to go down. I disagree with evens. I'd have it more along the lines of 4 to 6, 4 to 7. I don't think they've done enough business, mate, in the transfer window. I think that
Um,
you've got to spend money to give yourself a chance, and they haven't done it. And from what I can gather, they've got a lot of money, West Brom. They've got some rich owners, and they should be backing. They should be backing the manager, giving him
well,
more strengthening in every area that needs strengthened to get that team there for survival.
no, I agree. In regards to obviously the owner spending, um, again, it's a bit of a Wolves situation. We was quiet, no signings, nothing coming in. Then all of a sudden, like the light coming from the Evans and all that, Diangara
He's a great player. Yeah,
signed him,
he's a
and
great player.
young English, not that obviously nationality, but you like to keep the English players about local and getting them, you know what I mean, in their day with a chance. Come on, we all want to see England win the World Cup. More
Yeah,
England players, English players in the Prem, the
great.
better. But so yeah, Grady Diangara.
Is he
I've seen,
left-sided today?
yeah,
Yeah,
he
he's a
cuts
great.
in really well. I mean, last season, 30 appearances, 8 goals, 6 assists in the championship.
Yeah,
He had a fair few injuries. Like one, I think he missed about 2 months for a few injuries. Sort of come
yeah.
back out, started firing again. West Ham, who we signed him off. I think I've seen reports floating between 15 and 18 million and upwards to 20. So I'm not exactly sure how much I've paid for him.
It's about the right amount, I'd say, for him. That would
Yeah,
be.
I'd say 18 to 20 is about right.
Yeah,
But it's the one thing that sort of cheered me up a little bit as well. And I don't know why it cheered me up, but we've got Mark Noble, West Ham captain,
yeah,
going to the press saying that they made a mistake selling him for that price.
yeah.
That's
I know he's highly
it,
rated, but two
yeah.
players come out and said that.
And there's a few players who've said that, and I think
Yeah,
if your club captain's coming out and saying that, there's a bit of
yeah,
a problem there.
yeah,
But yeah, so yesterday was a good day because we'd signed him. But last season, championship, so it's hard to obviously compare championship goals and assists and such to Premier League. But 46 games, 77 goals, and the big one for me was 45 conceded, which, yes, it's less than a goal a game.
It was an improvement on the season before, though.
Yeah, yeah. I think with the players we had, I mean, we've got some talented players at the back.
Yeah,
There's a few coming from it. We lost Ferguson.
Gibbs is a good player.
Gibbs, he's a solid. He's a 7 out of 10 player for
Yeah,
me. He might not have that 10 out of 10 game where but he'll always be
he's
sturdy.
consistent.
Yeah, he's a Premier League proven left back as well.
Yeah,
So we've got a few players. We've got Furlong, O'Shea coming through. Carl Bartley probably had the best season he's ever had last year.
yeah,
Sammy Ajoy, what a
yeah,
season he had, to be fair, for how much we paid for him, like 1.5 million.
yeah. That.
The only problem is, out of all them, we've only got 2 in Premier League tested at the back, which is Agazi and Gibbs, which is a bit of a concern. I ain't gonna lie. I think we signed another centre half from Wigan. So I think it's like 900,000. And by all accounts, I couldn't find much information on him. Cedric Kipre. He's an
No, I don't
absolute,
know nothing about it
yeah.
myself.
I looked for him, and there ain't a great deal you can get coming from like Wigan. But from his site, he's like 195 centimeters, so he's an absolute unit. He's massive, which, 23-year-old, 900,000. If you can get a 7 out of 10 player out of him, then I mean, he's going to be a good backup at least.
So, quick question for you, Chump. Right? You
Yep.
being a Baggy, fanatical Baggy fan and all that, right?
Yeah.
And Baggy's supposed to have all this money and these rich owners. Why aren't they spending the money? Answer that for me, mate. Why aren't they spending the money?
I don't know. I don't think
players. I don't. Why?
Well, no, I don't know. I think
There's not a lot of difference. There's not a lot of difference between living in Wolverhampton than living in West Bromwich.
No, obviously, I mean, let's be honest. not one of them players from Wolves or Albion lives in Wolverhampton or West Bromwich. It don't happen, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They've hooked off somewhere else. But
Yeah.
I don't know. In a way, I don't want to see him go out and spend stupid amount of money and get 10 players in. I don't want to see that. I think if you've got a squad there.
That's what Villa did.
Yeah.
That's what Villa did. They spent something last season like 80 million on 8 shit players.
Yeah.
You know,
If they've got 50 million to spend, I mean, looks like the 2 players they've got now, they've signed. Outside of that, Cedric Kipre, and they actually signed a goalkeeper from Brighton, didn't they? Button.
Yeah.
Basically, and I think they've brought him in on a free, and they reckon he can challenge Sam Johnson, which is going to be a good thing. So we've got 3. We've got 2. Sam Johnson, we've got Bond, both decent keepers. And if you're bringing a 3rd in, he's going to get the best out of him. So, but the other player, which was Albion's in shining light last season, Mateus Pereira.
Yeah, he's a good player. I did want to mention him, mate.
Yeah, I was never going to do this podcast without mentioning him.
40, he's a good player.
Yeah, so 42 games, 8 goals, 16 assists. That's a
massive
lot.
amount of assists, sir.
Again, the Championship, slightly different to the Premier League. He's Brazilian, which is always good.
The thing about you, I'm just going to touch on something you say there, mate. You say the Championship different to the Premiership, and you're right. But sometimes it can be beneficial playing in the Premiership because the Championship, not a lot of people realise this sometimes, it's like a fucking rugby league. There's a lot more physicality, believe it or not, in the Championship than there is in the Premier League.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
played at a faster pace.
Yeah.
But the Championship is a lot more of a rough, tough, physical league. You pick up a lot of injuries in the Championship.
Yeah.
So for the type of sleek, fast, speedy, creative players, sometimes it works out better for them in the Premier League.
No, I agree. I personally think the best bit of business we've done was at the start of last season when we had him on loan with a view to a permanent. If he played, I think it was 38 games or something like that, we'd have to sign him for 8 million. And we was panicking that the season was going to get called off, so we wouldn't actually meet that criteria. And then they'd sell him for a stupid price. But obviously, he got restarted. He played the games. We got him. And I think £8 million. I mean, that's stupidly good business.
I think that was really good for
if he gets 4 goals and 8 assists next season, he's worth 4 million. You know what I mean? So he's worth that. Especially so if you halve it, he's a few goals behind Jack Grealish.
Yeah.
And he'd have more assists.
Yeah.
So if you look at it like that. But then again,
he's worth his weight in gold.
Yeah, him and Diango, I think, could be the catalysts to keep Albion up. I don't know, but
I'm going to put you on the spot, and they get him relegated or not. You're a big Baggy fan.
Without being honest, without a striker, for me, I think Albion need two more players. Because you need somebody to boss the middle of midfield.
Yeah.
I mean, iron gritty, you know what I mean? Just block out and help protect that defence. Yeah. Not necessarily going forward, because we've got the players in abundance going forward. We need somebody to sit in front of that back four. Proper iron fist ruling. And we also need somebody who's going to be consistent, or at least going to be looking at 15 goals.
Yeah.
I mean, Charlie Austin, hit and miss for us last season, come good after the restart. Few injuries and such.
He never looks fit to me.
No, he never looks 100%, but he got 11 goals, which was Albion's highest goal scorer. So
yeah. On his day, when he's 100% fit, Charlie Austin, I think he's a really good player.
Yeah, he's a finisher.
Great finisher.
Yeah. I think we got Zahor, Zahor might come into his own in the Premier League. I think he's a big number 9 who's going to hold the ball up.
Yeah.
If we can get the best out of him, when you've got, like, obviously, Diangara, Pereira, Phillips, even Kanu, if he plays out on the wing, just floating in, coming down either side, we might stand a chance. But I'd much rather still have a goal scorer, to be honest with you, because we know that the others can score goals in the Premier League. They've done. Matty Phillips has done it before. If Pereira and Grady can, they'll be all right, I think. But as it stands, I would take 17th now.
Yeah. I agree with that. What do you think? So what's your verdict, mate?
I think 16th and 17th is the goal this season for Albion.
Yeah.
As it stands. Obviously, we've got pretty much just a month left of the transfer window. I had to check this yesterday because it's weird. The transfer window runs internationally up till the 5th of October.
Yeah.
And then I think they've got another 2 weeks after where they can only sign from the EFL. 16th, 17th, I'll be happy with. If we can get another striker in, I think we should be okay-ish at the back, but we need that iron fist in front of the back four.
You need a Willy Bolly. That's what you need, mate. You need a big centre half.
Well, I think we've got him. We've got a Ghazi who was really good in the Premier League, I thought. Ajoy, he's got potential. We got Furlong, who's got potential. O'Shea.
The main thing is, Chunk, you need an out-and-out goal scorer.
Yeah, I think that if you had to pick and choose, would you want the iron fist in front of the centre halves or an out-and-out goal? I'd have the out-and-out goal scorer because we've got players who can sit in front of the back four, but they're not necessarily the iron fist. So we've got like Romain Sawyers and he's completely gone. Anyway. But yeah, we got a few midfielders. Maybe the centre midfield needs a bit of work, which I did put on my sort of notes leading into this. The central midfield is a bit of a weakness.
Yeah, I think though, as it stands, mate, I think you're going to struggle. I really do.
I'm not expecting us to challenge the top 10. I think looking at some of the teams around, it's a really good link. The teams around then, who's your bet to get relegated? If you had to pick 3.
If I had to pick 3 at this current time, it's got to be Fulham, West Brom, and I'd have to say I think Brighton might struggle this season.
Yeah, no, I'll be honest with you. I'd put a few because, like I say earlier in the podcast, I said it's maybe a 5 or 6 team fight. So the teams I put in was West Ham. I think there's a lot going on there what nobody's really seeing, and they really struggled towards the end of last season, didn't they? Just about above Villa.
They come good. West Ham, the last 4 or 5 games, they scored a lot of goals. Predominantly, most of the season they struggled. They were awful at times. But I think they did a little bit at the end of the season.
I think the break in the Premier League suited them a little bit.
It did. It helped West Ham. I think if there wouldn't have been a break, they could have ended up going down. Yeah,
I just think, especially sort of leading on from what I was saying about Diangara and some of their top players coming out saying like, what you're playing at. I think that's the bit of the issue, concern there. There seems to be unrest behind the scenes. And that's worse than just being out of form in it, you know what I mean? There's unrest in the dressing room. Yeah. I don't know. But the other one I put, and people think it's a bit weird, I have put Albion in there. So and then I've sort of on my notes I put need a goal scorer, which we've already touched on. But the other 3 I did put in there, I'd got Villa. Again, what we've touched on earlier. They need somebody at the back and they need a striker. Fulham, which I said, I don't know. I think they just had a really good. I think that Brentford had a bit of a bad day. They had a good day, so they got to the Premier League.
I see Fulham a little bit like Norwich, if I'm honest. I
Yeah,
think they'll go for it attacking wise, but they'll just get picked off every week in my eyes.
yeah,
I'm a decent attacking team, not so good at the back for me.
yeah. And the last one, which might surprise a few folks, but I don't think so. And this is solely based on the amount of signings they've pulled up so far, which is
Yeah.
Leeds. I just
No,
think I've.
I'm going to disagree. We're there, mate. I think Leeds will be more than comfortable.
Don't get me wrong, they've got some good individual players, and they played well as a team last season. They're really good. Last season, Championship itself was all over the place. I think anybody leading up to like the last 6 or 7 games in that league could have gone on up automatic. And that's why the Championship is the best league in the world for entertainment. Not necessarily top quality football, just for entertainment. Is you don't know what the fuck's happening week in, week out.
Yeah, definitely.
So, but I don't know. I think they haven't got many players with Premier League experience, which not saying that they need that. I mean, look at what Sheffield United did. But I think it'd
I
help.
see them like a little bit. I see them a little bit like Sheffield United. That's how I view Leeds. They've got this. They've got this young kid on loan from Man City. Is it Harrison?
Yeah,
He's an
I
absolute
think so.
of a player.
I,
He's a
I,
top player. He
I
is.
don't know that too much about him, to be honest with you, but I know they signed Elder Costa off Wolves, haven't they?
Yeah, they signed Elder Costa's a good player. He's a reliable player. I'm not sure how he'll do in the Premier League for them, but they've got. I think Leeds have got enough, mate, to
Yeah,
stop up.
I don't know. I think sometimes, like you say, I did touch on it really early into the podcast. I think sometimes signing players, too many rocks the boat you've already got. Like you're saying about Villa when they sign like 8 shit players rather than 4 decent ones or 4 good ones.
Yeah,
And I think sometimes less is more. Maybe I'm wrong.
yeah.
I don't know. Right, down to the last few little points. Right, who do you think are going to be champions 2020,
Oh,
2021?
absolutely rock hard to predict this. I think it's going to be a really, really strange season without fans. We saw towards the end of the last season there didn't seem to be any home advantage, etc.
Yeah.
Could we be in for an absolutely surprise of a season and somebody comes out the pack, something similar to what Leicester did? Not sure about that.
No,
You never know.
of
Miracles
course.
do happen.
Yeah, I mean, I call
Uh,
CU, to be fair, but hopefully Albion, but very doubtful.
the bookies have got it in favour of Manchester City, and I think that's how I see it. I
Yeah,
think they've made a couple of good signings over the summer. City. I think, like I touched on before, Nathan Ake is a good signing, which will
yeah.
strengthen them at the back. I
That's-
think it might be City's year. I'd have to say I mean, the team that spent the most money this summer is Chelsea. 213 million they've spent. Chelsea.
Yeah,
I don't think it'll be enough for them to challenge City and Liverpool and win the league. But obviously, I think they'll then search for top 4. So I'm going to predict it like this. I'm going to go City, Liverpool, Chelsea, United. I think United are on the way back. Not quite there yet.
I think, yeah, I basically my notes, again, because I have to do all this to remind myself. I'll put it as a complete coin toss. Ask me today, I'll say one team. Ask me tomorrow, I'll say another. Who's between Liverpool and Man City? I think I'm slightly edging towards Man City because they've done a bit of business. Like they've like Ake at the back. They've got rid of Sane, but they brought in another winger. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That Spanish lad, I can't remember his name, but they seem to have brought in decent players. They've brought in another striker as well, another youth product to take the pressure off Aguero and put a bit of pressure on Jesus to try and get him firing again.
Yeah.
Because, to be fair, if they had Jesus and Aguero fire together, there ain't many teams keeping them out, let's be honest. You know what I mean? That team.
He never seems to play Aguero and Jesus together, though, does he?
No. I think it's just the way he sets up because he likes sort of the wingers, doesn't he? And like a 4-5-1. Yeah, I think he just likes playing like one sort of central striker, doesn't he? Somebody stop in the middle,
Yeah.
but But yeah,
one guy can rely on at Man City's De Bruyne. He's probably currently one of the best players.
Yeah.
He's the third for my fantasy team this season. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I've got him and Fernandes.
Yeah.
So, which is pretty much ripped the rest of my squad off. But I think I've built a decent enough squad around it. But to be fair, if them two start firing, you ain't got to worry about much, to be honest. I think if you look at their points last season, even like Fernandes on half a season for United was still 130 odd points or something stupid like that. No. But yeah, I have put outside cheeky bet as well, is Chelsea. Solely because if they can keep their youth team floating around, they've added in certain key positions, centre half, Thiago Silva, 35, never played in the Premier League. Will he cut it? Who knows? I mean, you couldn't deny his absolute quality.
Werner's a great signing.
Werner, yeah.
Striker.
And let's be honest, that's what Chelsea really struggled with last season, was an out-and-out striker.
I can't see Abraham playing a lot anymore.
No, it's a shame, really, because he did do well when they were struggling. And Giroud, they both did all right, but they just needed somebody who's going to... Because there was 1 week it was Giroud, then it was Abraham starting. They never got a decent run. I think if you got faith in one and give him a decent run, it might have been a different thing. But yeah, was it Leicester set left back Chilwell? Forgot his name for how long then. 50 million. Too much. Maybe I don't know.
So. I think it's a bit too much. I think he's a good player. I think that's a lot of money.
Yeah, no, and I was looking at his sort of stats and things like again. I mean, he's playing in an hard-working Leicester team, but there weren't that many. I think he got 3 goals and 4 assists. 50 million, that's a lot. I mean, obviously, again, he's a fullback, so you're not necessarily rating him on goals and assists. But
I think you can compare everybody too much now to Alexander-Arnold, Koya, where goals and assists are concerned.
Yeah, but I think the modern-day fullback now, you are looking at how many assists primarily. You know what I mean? You want your fullback to be getting 5 or 6.
Well, it's when you're comparing to Robertson and Alexander-Arnold Palmer. I mean, they get them pair. Both fullbacks get massive amounts of assists and goals.
Yeah,
they get more than some of the midfielders at Liverpool, which is unbelievable.
I think that's the way they've set up, and I kind of like how they've done that. Is where they've got the midfielders who can sort of cut in and create, but by them cutting in, it creates a space for the fullbacks to get down there. And I think it's just the way Klopp's designed them to play. And to be honest, it works like a dream. I mean, they were fantastic last season, let's be honest. I don't think they'll recreate it again now, because that'll be the 3rd season on the bench. I think they to lose to get 98 points and finish 2nd in the Premier League is tough. But they didn't get them down, they carried on. So
got the job done.
Yeah. Right, so moving on to the last bit, and which is tied in with the BetLounge.UK, is having a bit of a flutter over the next season. So if you want to run with that, Dunny?
Yeah, right. So as a few people know from watching my YouTube channel, I'm a massive advocate for BetBull. I do promote BetBull. They're a fairly young sports book, but they're a little bit different to your William Hills, Betfairs, Paddy Powers, etc. With BetBull, it's a little bit like a social media type of betting where you can follow your friends, share your bets, follow top tipsters. There's leaderboards with top influencers, top winners. So yeah, it's a little bit like the Facebook of betting in a way. Follow anybody, follow all your mates, etc. They are doing a great sign-up offer at the moment, which you can find a link to in the description of this video. You can get up to £50 in free bets. It's 18 plus only. Be gamble aware. So me and the Chunkster have put some outright season bets together in an accumulator. So shall I have the honours of this, Chunk, to start it off?
Yeah, you take it away, mate.
Right, my fourfold for the season, my fourfold accumulator is WBA relegation, even money. That's my Premier League selection. My Championship selection is Brentford to make the top 6. So it's a top 6 finish at 4-7. My League One selection is Sunderland to finish in the top 6 at 8-11. My League Two selection is Salford, the mighty Salford, to be promoted at 13-8. This accumulator with BetBull pays 14-1. So £10 on that will get you £150 back with your stake. So my other side bet is a little double here. It's a top goal scorer double. And I'm doing this on the Premier League and the Championship. So I'm going for Tino Werner, to be top scorer in the Premiership. That's what I think is a huge 9-1. And I'm going for top goal scorer in the Championship, Pookie from Norwich at 7-1. That's an 80-1 double. £10 double on that will get you £810 back, mate.
That's not too bad, mate. I'll be honest with you. On mine, I've gone down the nutty bet of the week. If you go on to betlounge.uk, you'll see. But yeah, so my fourfold is Chelsea to win the league, 14-1. Norwich to win the Championship, 6-1. Sunderland to finish in the top 2 of the League One, 10-3. And Bolton to win League Two at 5-1. So a tenner on that. A tenner on that will get you 10,050 quid, which is the maximum they do.
I've got one word for you there, mate. Seriously.
No chance.
Dream on. No fucking chance whatsoever.
You know what? I might actually, you know, where you do the old nutty bet of the week. I might do the nutty bet of the season and then put the 50% into it.
Yeah.
I will do that. I'm going to put a tenner on each, and then I'll put it on in a bit, and then whatever I get, I'll put it towards the charity.
Yeah, I'll make you a deal here, mate. Me and you both from Pensnet.
Yeah.
If that bet actually comes in, I will stand on top of Charlie's chippy with no clothes on whatsoever, start bollock naked for around 2.5 hours. Is that a bit of a fair deal?
Yeah. Just let me know the 2.5 hours and I'll go Balliol.
Yeah. I'm a man of my word. I will.
It's recording. It's on the internet now, mate, so you go back out.
Yeah, I'm a man of my word. I'll definitely stick to that. That's how confident I am that bet doesn't come in junk.
No, but like I say, well, I'll after we finish this, I'll put it on. I'll send you the thingy. You can put it on your nutty bet of the season as in part from me anyway, mate. So I'll do my bit like you do on your charity. Probably going to happen, but you never know. It's the crazy world of football.
Yeah.
And then, did you go over your goal scorers?
Say that again, mate.
Was it the goal scorers next on it? Well, I've put in.
I've already done mine.
Oh yeah, my two. Yeah, you did, didn't you? Sorry. My two doubles. Me two for the double was Jamie Vardy, top Premier League scores 14-1. Which I think
That's a good price.
That's decent because he's been close, really close.
Yeah.
And then I've gone Championship League scorer Ollie Watkins at 10-1.
Yeah, decent.
Which is if he stops at Brentford, which I think he will. I don't think Brentford are pressed to sell at the minute.
Yeah, that's around 150-1, that, eh?
Yes, I believe so. Might be a bit more. Hold on, I had it on my phone and then I've got rid of it. It's 164-1. So nice. Yeah, well, there you go. So that is the first Chunk TV and Gaming Sports podcast. I hope you've enjoyed it, and cheers, Chris, Dunny, however you want to be called, for joining in. I hope you've had fun, and we'll
call me Dunny. Every fucking body else does.
Oh, we'll do. I've called you worse. Let's be honest.
Yeah, definitely.
So we will hopefully look at doing more bigger sporting events, maybe. Any feedback? more than welcome. Obviously, what you want us to touch on. So it's bye from me, and I don't know if you've got anything else to add, Done.
Yeah, get one more thing in. This season, I'm running 2 fantasy leagues through the FPL app. If you do play Fantasy Premier League, I've got so they're both free. They've both got free prize money in. One's for my YouTube subscribers. It's the Bet Lounge YouTube FPL League, and the other league I'm doing is the Bet Lounge versus BetBull FPL League, which has got plenty of prize money in as well. They're both free to enter. The YouTube one is for my YouTube subscribers only. The BetBull one is for new and existing BetBull customers only, and it's UK only and 18 plus only for both of these leagues.
Okay, so there you go, folks. Sign up to BetBull through the link at thebetlounge.uk and follow the betlounge.uk on YouTube, and then join them leagues and try and win some money off Dunny. I'm gonna. Right, done. It's been a pleasure, mate.
Been a pleasure, mate. Thanks for having me.
Cheers, mate. We'll see you soon.